If there is paradise on earth, it is here, it is here, it is here. These lines aptly sum up Kashmir's breathtaking beauty, which was for centuries visible to the outside world through the eyes of travelers who came to Kashmir at different points in time and left an indelible mark on the minds of people across the globe. The earliest records of a human habitation take Kashmir's story back to 5000 BC. The inhabitants of Gufkral lived in these pits and followed a unique pattern while digging and then decorating them. The excavations of the Harwan monastery reveal a rectangular courtyard. There are a number of cells put together from the base. The material used is local, and the patterns that decorate it are aesthetically arranged. The majestic Martan temple is one of the important architectural sites of the valley. Its impressive architecture reveals the glorious past of the area. It represents the Devar or Stone Age of Kashmir, which saw it soaring high as a great center of art and learning with enormous contribution to the Sanskrit literature. This stone architecture can still be seen at many places throughout the valley. The ruins of Avantipura are popularly known as Pandavlari. The Avanti Swami temple is the most significant monument present here. Kashmir has been a treasure house of unique and rich culture, heritage, and tradition. There is no doubt in the fact that Kashmir is a bedrock of naturalism and an abode of different cultures, traditions, and religions, which have been perpetuated and eternalized by various spiritual beliefs and faiths. The ethnic, cultural, and social consciousness of the people of Kashmir has always been defined as Kashmirian, which is characterized by religious and cultural harmony. As such, the Kashmir region enjoys significant ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity. Architecture constantly adapts to suit the changing context so that it can best meet the common person's needs. There is, however, a risk that new materials and construction methods imported from outside may be introduced at a very fast pace, not apt to the local situation.
As far as our heritage is concerned, in terms of buildings and other infrastructure, to talk about Kashmir Valley and Srinagar city in particular, this is a very old city and its own history, it has its own archaeology, it has its own architecture.
Earlier, people of Kashmir built their world in tandem with nature and the tranquility of their daily lives. Their living styles reflected nature in an elaborate manner. In earlier days, the material for roof used to be mud mixed with grass, locally known as sai. The ceiling was covered with wooden planks, and then heaps of dried grass were placed on it and tied together. Such roofs are very rare in Kashmir now, as more durable and easily available alternatives are in the market.
Architecture, especially the traditional architecture, is the best historic statement which a society makes for generations to come. And it's not just how a building looks, also what technologies are involved, what techniques are involved, what materials are used in a particular period that determine and that define a structure. That structure then becomes part of the historic process. Now, architecture of late has assumed significance in the context of documentation of culture, documentation of heritage, and also documentation of the processes.
The society was agrarian, hence the basic needs were met accordingly. Elements from nature found their way into building techniques as well, and mud became the chief material to be used for construction. Kashmir being a cold place, it was important that the temperatures were maintained, and mud made it possible. Apart from the usual kitchen and bedrooms, there was ample space for storage of food items. Timber gave more options to the builder, and houses could now have separate spaces for different activities. Wooden spiral staircases gave access to the upper parts of the house. The wooden planks of these staircases were plastered with mud to give it a finished look and durability. The living styles and techniques were also reflective of the surrounding, and the availability of timber and firewood in abundance became an inseparable part of daily living. The top floor of such houses acted as a storage area where agricultural produce was stored, mostly in granaries made of mud. As such, the mud granaries were an integral part, apart from other storage spaces. Even in the present era of science and technology, these mud granaries are still popular in many Kashmiri villages. In contrast to other construction material, including cement and steel, mud does not demand imported commercial energies and is therefore a favored material for those desirous of a sustainable living. Earth architecture is much more eco-friendly, and the chief ingredients are clay, gravel, and straw. Mounds of mud mixed with straw and gravel are pressed with feet by an individual or a group of people till it becomes soft and uniform. This process involves simple techniques of mixing the mounds with feet while stomping in circles. Thus, it was the easiest way for constructing mud houses and did not need any special tools or equipment. Molds of bricks are filled with the right mix of the wet mud. The mold is then removed and the brick dried in sun. This is the most popular form of brick making since it uses only solar energy, which is free. Mud has been extensively used in Kashmir for many centuries and is still being used. Walls were earlier erected with sun-dried bricks. Now these have become less popular in comparison to the easily available plain bricks. However, still in many places, inner sides of the walls have a furnishing of mud mixed with grass or jute fiber, resulting in smoothness of the wall. Mud has a thermal property which keeps it warm in winter and cool in summer. Even though a drastic change has been witnessed in the architectural styles of Kashmir in the past 2 decades, still mud architecture has not lost its significance in Kashmir. Earlier, methods and techniques of cooking were not only environment friendly but also conserved energy, Kashmiri hearth being one such example.
We had our hearth, which we called as daan. It was very fuel efficient. You see, it was a contrivance on which you could cook 2 things, vegetables on one side and rice on the other. The smoke which would go to that hollow would heat the water in the matti, and the matti had an opening on the other side of the earth. That was bathroom, and it was so, every bit of it was saved. It was not, energy was not wasted. It was, you see, even the energy in smoke, heat in smoke was utilized to heat water in matti, and it was only in Kashmir Valley.
The architectural landscape across the valley changed with time.
There is total sea change in the architect pattern in rural areas, particularly since I am holding charge of the Rural Development Department. Very evident. If you will have a first look of the rural areas, you will find out this observation everywhere. Because of change in the lifestyle, because of change in the economy scenario of the state, because of various other reasons. In economics, we can say demonstration effect is very vital in making change in the pattern of life.
Despite innovations and inspirations from outside, Kashmir's architecture maintained its indigenous character. Art and aesthetics were an important part of the architecture, and the artisans beautified these places with their creativity. Floral drawings in papier-mâché are a visual treat in such buildings, apart from the wood carvings done to detail with great care. Kashmiri culture and traditions thrived in the architectural marvels. Daji Diwari and Tak are the two main traditional styles of architecture. Both these techniques use locally available material and are considered to be earthquake resistant.
See, traditionally we used to have two forms of construction in Kashmir. One was the Daji Diwari and second was the Tak. Now, you know, unfortunately we live in seismic zone 5, which means that from the earthquake point of view we are vulnerable to major earthquakes. And the kind of constructions that our ancestors had made not too far away, I mean not centuries ago, but even some decades ago even, we used to have the constructions which were earthquake friendly.
Urban habitat of Kashmir, which is Srinagar, is also suburban areas which have taken influences from Srinagar, have a very rich architectural wealth in terms of the vernacular architecture. And this vernacular architecture is spread over secular buildings, it's spread over shrines, it's spread over residences, it's spread over public spaces. And it's not just the building which we are looking at in terms of architecture, also the site. The atmosphere which a building creates or which a series of buildings create is something which we look at in terms of architecture. Unfortunately, over a period of years, these materials and these techniques and technologies have somehow lost ground to newer methods of construction, mainly based on concrete.
Constructed from local materials with local skills and a deep understanding of social and economic constraints, traditional architecture is in many ways, in many aspects, sustainable architecture.
Tragedy is that nowadays people are constructing new buildings and new architecture is being designed. But at the same time, some of the old architecture, old buildings, heritage buildings are being pulled down also due to economic reasons, financial reasons, or due to market forces, which is not a very desirable thing. So therefore, the government also has to take a very, type of view, holistic view, wherein we involve the community and the citizens also and the government also to try to see how best we can preserve our traditional architecture, and also we can come up with certain modern buildings which reflects the modern architecture. It's not that we are stuck with the heritage only, but in certain newer areas we can develop newer satellite townships, or we develop new infrastructure in the government.
As durable wood like deodar has become very expensive, corrugated galvanized iron, CGI sheets came to replace wood planks and shingles. In areas where it is easy to transport these sheets, the change has been so far-reaching that CGI sheeting now constitutes the most common form of roofing in the region. Sand is obtained from the silt accumulated at the bed of river Jhelum, and this process is being carried out at a large scale in Kashmir. In recent times, new materials have made their way into the valley of Kashmir on account of their favorable economics as well as people's aspiration to modernity. Divar stone, however, is still used as a major construction material. The increasing number of cement factories and stone crushing units in Kashmir, especially near the town of Pampore, is causing serious health-related problems to the inhabitants. Large number of cement processing units and stone crushers are operating in Kashmir. Residents complain of an increased number of respiratory diseases because of the cement dust that is being continuously emitted from such units. The effect on environment due to the cement factory dust has also been observed in Kashmir. Timber has played a major role in the architectural development of Kashmir. Wood was at one point of time the most preferred construction material in Kashmir. Kashmir had surplus availability of wood, which was suitable construction material to Kashmir's climate and was used extensively in constructions. Mostly deodar tree were used for the wooden construction. But as deodar wood became expensive, people opted for cheaper construction materials. However, still a number of sawmills operate in Kashmir, as wood cannot be replaced altogether. Windows, doors, ceilings, floors, and many other parts of even the modern Kashmiri houses are of wood.
Introduction of modern materials in Kashmiri houses or in Kashmiri constructions like granite, marble, cement, steel, glass. Likewise, it has definitely created some health problems for the residents who use these constructions, especially in the residential houses. Well, it's not possible to eliminate these materials because they are readily available, they are cheaper, and then they are also fire resistant or rat resistant, and they have other qualities. But we have to find out a way where we can use these materials in our peculiar climatic condition, especially in winters, which spreads to at least 4 to 5 months.
In the past 25 to 30 years, Kashmiri architecture has seen a slow but constant change in its building materials. Marble, granite, steel, CGI sheets, and even metro tiles have become popular than the traditional construction materials. As a result, today, we have to a maximum extent replaced timber with concrete and steel. The biggest threat today from concrete and steel is because it is relatively new to Kashmir. The common man has not been able to understand its techniques completely. The social, climatic, economic, and technical impacts of new interventions are often not fully understood. In many cases, new materials and techniques applied in an unprofessional manner threaten the safety of buildings and the people who live in them. Still, a question arises. Is this transformation positive, or is there any need of reversal If not, should a third option be carved out, incorporating the old and the new?
The spatial art of the Jammu and Kashmir should be preserved in one way or another way. That should be there, because for the survival and for sustenance, you have to keep things continue. You have to sustain the things.
So anybody sees a photograph of a Kashmiri house, he should feel that, well, this is the house which belongs to Kashmir. Because of our unique architectural character, because of our unique location on the Central Asian route, because of our unique culture, and because of our unique tradition. That is, in that way, I mean to say that we carry more responsibility of being modern, at the same time being nailed to our, heritage.
It's a blend of modernity and, ancient structures, heritage, architecture. How best we can blend it and maintain harmony and maintain certain areas of city which will be traditional heritage architecture which will be maintained, not only for the tourists but also for locals, for our future generations.
So structures are important, techniques are important, technologies are important, and these technologies are traditional in Kashmir. We would like the people to retain, to the extent possible, this type of architecture which is not just timber based, also based on a technique which is known as TARC system.
If we talk of the construction as such, either the building should be an engineered building in which proper BIS codes are followed and the building is made properly using all the engineering aspects that are required to be done, or we switch over back to the traditional forms of constructions in which there was a major constants of timber.
Even though modern methods and patterns of construction are gaining popularity in the valley at a rapid pace, efforts are being made to preserve the old heritage buildings and designs. During present times, people have started to realize the importance of the traditional architectural patterns and the different construction materials of the previous eras. Technique of TARC is being incorporated in modern Kashmiri houses again. However, the cost and time factor involved is an impediment to its revival. People now understand how the earlier Kashmiri society of that time was aware of the geographical requirements of Kashmir and constructed houses that could withstand extreme cold and strong earthquakes. Beautifully carved wooden pillars can be found in some of the modern houses as well, however with a modern touch. At the same time, Khatamband, the beautifully carved wooden ceilings, are being installed in new houses in a contemporary way. In present-day constructions in Kashmir, a merger of the old and new is quite evident. With current materials like wallpapers, stylish staircases, and cemented walls, one can also find the traditional Khatamband ceilings and wooden flooring. Modern houses and various buildings in Kashmir are coming up as an amalgamation of the old and new patterns of architecture and construction materials. One can find plaster of Paris and woodwork side by side in modern Kashmiri houses. Modern kitchens have all of the new facilities installed, and at the same time, ample use of wood is found. Pinchrakari, that is lattice work, and wooden flooring are becoming quite common in new houses. Dido work or wood paneling is popular, taking into consideration the long winters. Elegant Kashmiri carpets are spread over the floors as a resistance to the cold as well as for decorative purposes. With each passing day, we move forward, leaving the old behind. But somehow, in this race to ape modern ways, Hammam, an age-old technique, has found its way into the modern household of Kashmir and has plans of permanently settling in. Hammam as a concept is becoming more and more popular among Kashmiris. Most of the newly made homes have a hammam. Its popularity can have many reasons. The coziness and comfort it provides in the harsh Kashmiri winter is the main reason.
हमाम जन इस ये पोर्शन छ यदन छ गज इसलिए छ यति प्रेफर करना इंसान से भी क्या यदन छ इंसान ज्यादा विश्नियर.
Architecture of Kashmir is not limited to land alone. The traditional styles of architecture and design are also present over water in form of the mesmerizing houseboats. Houseboats in Kashmir are usually moored at the edges of Dal Lake and Nigin Lake. These houseboats are made of wood and usually have intricately carved wood paneling. The houseboats are of different sizes, some having up to 3 bedrooms apart from a living room and dining area. Many tourists are attracted to Srinagar by the charm of staying on a houseboat, which provides the unique experience of living on the water in a cedar-paneled, elegant bedroom with all the facilities of a luxury hotel. A luxury houseboat, like a luxury hotel, has fine furniture, good carpets, and modern bathroom fittings. Kashmir's architecture and designs have a great cultural and historical value and are still a part of Kashmiri society in one way or the other, thus making it a living heritage.